And welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on ColumbusNewsTeam.com. Week 11 as we are thick in the middle of the Class C1 playoffs. Head coach Tyler Linder with us as the SCOTUS Shamrocks coming off a round one win over O'Neill. How are you doing, Coach?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Let's get right into things. Columbus News Team was out broadcasting your game against the Eagles, and it was a fairly impressive performance. You handled them pretty easily. You put up, I believe it was 28-plus points in that first quarter alone.
We came out firing on all cylinders. I think our guys up front really set the tone physically, and it's just an exciting environment when you're playing in a playoff field of only 16 teams. You know that everybody's going to kind of have your number, and we came out really hot, and we never really looked back.
There's Cole Harrington. And something that I noticed, you ran a little bit of wildcat in that game. Something you're implementing for this playoff push?
Yeah, we've had it in for a number of weeks now. We just like getting Cole Harrington the ball right away, and he does great things as soon as he gets it, and you saw it right there.
There was one of two pass plays, a catch to Dalton Taylor in the corner, some nice touch as well as the junior making a big play.
Yeah, it got pretty damp out there last week, and so we didn't really feel confident throwing the ball around with kind of the slick conditions, but we were able to throw twice, completing only one of them, but it was for a big score to Dalton.
And we've been covering your games for a majority of the season. Never had a really rainy game, especially something that was that wet and coming down the entire time. How do you feel your players responded to sort of the change in climate and condition?
One of the things that we preach to our kids is that you can only control the things within your wheelhouse. You can't control the weather, you can't control the officials, you can't control the other team, but what you can control is your attitude, and that's going to make all the difference. So I think our kids handled themselves extremely well, and we came out week one of the playoffs with a dominating performance.
And I know you're looking back, first round was Pierce, and then you had O'Neill this time. Obviously a much more handily win, we'll say. Just comparing those two games and the performances as you head into the second round, just how does that look for you?
What we learned from playoff win number one is that we're really confident in what we do. I think we came out, we executed our X's and O's perfectly. There wasn't a lot of breakdown. We didn't have to go back to the drawing board this week. So really excited about how our kids executed the game plan, and my hat goes off to our coaches just putting our kids in a position to be successful. I think Coach Jay Pollan called a tremendous game. To score 62 points, with only throwing the ball twice and having a running clock the vast majority of the second half is an impressive feat. And so my hat goes off to Coach Pollan, but my special teams coordinator, Coach Roger Krinke, put him in great situations with field position. So really happy with the way that our team just came out and performed, and it's going to lead us to hopefully a really promising run at this playoff picture.
Obviously a very positive performance to build on as you head into the second week of the playoffs. Now this is where you guys stumbled last year against Kearney Catholic. You've talked about it. You said, hey, we're not looking past any games anymore. And you have a good opponent, Ashland-Greenwood, a team that was actually in the finals last year before they fell to Boone Central Newman Grove. So now as you go to this spot where you guys lost last year, how's the emotions of the players, yourself, as you get ready for this big game?
We've got a really vivid memory of what happened last year, and so our boys already know what it feels like to be 9-2, and they are dead set on making sure that we do not end our season 9-2. So our practices have been very crisp and very energetic this week, and they have to be, because Ashland-Greenwood is a phenomenal team. They've made the state finals the last 2 years in a row. They haven't won it, but just getting there is very impressive. So their kids know what it's like to go deep in the playoffs, and so they're going to come ready, and we have to show up on Friday night.
It's maybe a kind of tough question for you to answer, but you've played a lot of good ranked teams throughout the regular season, and then you've probably been scouting Ashland-Greenwood already, seeing some footage on them. How do you think they compare, or most similar to the teams that you've played already, and where they rate?
They stack up really well with the level of competition we played. They're right up there with the best teams that we've played. I would say that they're the best running football team that we'll see that we've seen thus far. They've got a very impressive line that's able to so far on film been able to control the line of scrimmage against their opponents, and they've got really talented guys in the backfield. I think the Trevor Nicholson kid, number 34 for him, is the best running back that we've seen all year. He's already rushed for well over 2,000 yards of rushing, and so he will be a force to be reckoned with on Friday night. So we've got to show up, we've got to tackle well, and we've got to kind of take them out of their comfort zone. We've got to take Nicholson away, and I'm sure they'll go to another Division I athlete that they have in the Ben end, Stilly Kid at tight end. So we're going to have to perform really, really well and match up well with their skill guys in order to come away with a victory on Friday.
That's the offensive scouting report. What do they do defensively, and what is your offense going to have to do well? Obviously, you want to run the ball and do what you do best.
Yeah, we're not going to change too much of our game plan. You know, we want to establish a running game and do it very, very physically. They run a pretty traditional look. In some games, they've run a 4-3 with a 2-high safety. We believe they're going to walk down one of those safeties in the box and run almost a traditional 4-4. So we're prepared for just about anything that they can throw at us, and that, again, is a testament to our offensive coaching staff. I think our guys do a great job of throwing out any potential looks that the opponent can kind of throw at us in the game. So our guys are ready, they're focused, and it's going to take a well-balanced attack, you know, dispersing the ball like we do, getting it to, you know, getting a lot of different guys touches in order to keep them off balance to make us successful.
We're wrapping this segment up. Just, you know, it's hard not to get caught up in the hype and everything, but what's the buzz of the school? What have people been telling you? Obviously, is you have this talented group of players that are making this run.
Well, if you've been around the SCOTUS community at all this week, you know that it's an electric place. Not only with our football program, but our volleyball team's done amazing things this year, and they're looking to make a run at this, you know, at the state picture. So the atmosphere has been great. Our kids' focus has been phenomenal, and the support that we've received, not just this week, but all year from our fans and from our alum, it's been a very special place to be, especially, you know, this fall season. So not looking to end that anytime soon. We want to keep this thing going as long as possible, but we got to take care of Ashland first.
We're looking forward to a great game. We'll be broadcasting it on columbusnewsteam.com. That kickoff's at 7, and we're looking for another SCOTUS win as always.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
And that wraps up this week's edition of Coach's Corner here on columbusnewsteam.com. The SCOTUS Shamrocks back to the second round of the playoffs, taking the defending Class C1 runners-up in Ashland-Greenwood. It's going to be a great game. Be sure to tune in at 6:45 on columbusnewsteam.com if you aren't already at the game supporting the Shamrocks. He's head coach Tyler Linder. I'm Brandon Axton, and that wraps up this week's edition of Coach's Corner here on columbusnewsteam.com.